Hi, Cancer. Welcome to your July 2021 Astro Update. It's Raina here. Well, this is my third try. I posted a video that is not accurate because I said that the new moon was in Leo, so I decided to do it all over again because it's only like 10 or 15 minutes anyway. So July is pretty action-packed. We're coming off of a Mercury retrograde, a Mercury coming out of its shadow, and so things should be getting back to normal. In your case, Mercury has been in a very quiet place, the 12th house, a very contemplative place. And so I don't know how it impacted you when it went retrograde, but even when Mercury is direct in Gemini in your 12th house as July begins, it still can be kind of like, in some cases even unsettling if you feel like you are having some kind of cellular memories, or maybe you can't quite put your finger on it because this is the area of the unconscious mind. And so the workings, when you think about Mercury and trying to communicate, it becomes, in certain houses, certain transits, it can be much easier than in others. And so in the 12th house, it's almost hampered by the past, and not talking about just childhood, I'm talking about past lives, and trying to sort out your mental impressions. Are they coming from this actual lifetime? Are you communicating in a way that other people can understand? Are you really in your own world in a sense? Venus is in Leo, as Mercury is in your 12th. You have Venus in your second house of earned income. Venus is the ruler of the second house, so that is very good for attracting. Venus is the attractor, money to you at this time. And, cancers tend to be fiscally conservative, I would say. Obviously, if you have the moon in a fire sign, Aries, Sag, or Leo, or you have inner planets in Leo, like, Mars in Leo, Venus in Leo, which you might have, you could be more free spending, I guess, because fire signs tend to be very impulsive, especially with the moon sign. You're so emotional as it is. Sometimes people are impulse buyers. They're just in that frame of mind, that mood, and they buy things that they later say, why did I do that? But just even wanting to kind of be more flashy, Mars and Leo, or rising sign that's fire, where you want to show off, I mean, even to people that you don't know, that you have arrived, that you have the money to buy certain things, status symbols. Venus can be luxury items. So you might be making a big ticket purchase of some sort. On the 9th, there is the new moon at 18 degrees of Cancer. So this is your new moon. And the at the time of the new moon, we're talking about setting intentions, and you can think about with your solar return the coming year. If you're born around the 9th, then this is especially potent because it's occurring on your birthday. But for everybody, this can be the time for you to really look at what you want to bring into your reality in the next 12 months. Now, you don't have to believe in the power of new moons or full moons, but I have a feeling that a lot of cancers do. Since you're ruled by the moon, you might be really into that kind of thing. But it's even just the symbolism of it can be very helpful for motivating people to actually have these long range goals and nurture them throughout the year. On the 11th, Mercury goes into your sign. And so that is good because, you know, when you think about what Mercury represents, I think sometimes it gets a little bit, pushed aside and not really given much attention to. But communication is everything in our life, just the experience that I've had of having my ears stuffed up for like a couple of weeks or whatever, 10 days. I realized that when you, even if you uh, can hear a little bit or you can talk, you still are hampered when you don't have it full blast, and it affects everything else around you, It affects the way you think, it affects the way that you just feel like you're moving. It's just weird, you just feel like off kilter. So when Mercury is in your sign, it's like you're aligned with, your mind is aligned with who you are in this lifetime. So that's what your sun sign. For your rising sign, if you're listening to this with your rising sign, it still will be in your first house. So it'll have the same effect. And it's really about selling yourself. Mercury is a salesman, and in the first house, what you're selling is yourself. And we sell ourselves when we're looking for a job and we're, answering questions from our prospective employer. We're selling ourselves when we own a business and we are marketing. And we're trying to, what's the word? I was going to say encourage, but it's really like impress upon people that we have something valuable that we, are trying to sell. If you're, looking for love, being able to communicate who you are to the other person is everything. The people that tend to suffer when they're dating are the people who have poor communication skills. And sometimes that comes from like social anxiety or what have you, where they just clam up and they don't, they say two words and the other person's like, they either think that the person has something to hide, or they think that the person is a little bit, that they have some kind of issues that are preventing them from being able to just, function in a basic way. Communication is super important. So that should be of assistance to you at this time. It sure beats the 12th house, let's put it that way. On the 21st, Mercury, or I was going on so much about Mercury, Venus goes into Virgo. So now Venus is going into this area that is about communication, and Virgo is ruled by Mercury. It's the third house. Yeah, well, the third house is ruled by Mercury, so I wasn't far off. It's a house of communication. It's a house of teaching and learning. The media, Venus here can be earning money through these mediums. So if you're tutoring, if you just, maybe you're getting a job in the education field, especially if it's like lower grades and stuff, that would be the third house. Any writing. This can be harmony. You can be, experiencing a lot of peaceful interactions with your siblings. That's third house is your siblings, or other extended family members, aunts and uncles, cousins. Third house, neighbors, having, harmony with them. Maybe finding love. The third house can be your local area, neighbors. You can find love in maybe somebody's having a barbecue cookout kind of a thing, and you meet somebody, locally, or through your siblings. Online can be the third house because of communication, that you meet somebody. On the 22nd, the sun goes into Leo. So sun goes into that second house, and, this is good for you if you are, Mercury's going to go there in less than a week too. The sun can give you that desire to really get your financial house in order, or to embody that, the numbers cruncher, if you will. It also is really good for your self-esteem because the second house can be your self-worth. And the sun is that sense of like, I am presence. 23rd, full moon at 1 degree of Aquarius. It's going to be a blue moon situation in August. So this is the first of 2 full moons in Aquarius. Aquarius for you is the 8th house. And the 8th house is Scorpio's house in the universal chart. So it's a very intense place, and a full moon here would be very intense. Now, because it's at 1 degree, this is only going to affect, and this will vary depending on what year you're born, cuspy types of cancers, people who are born around the time of the solstice, summer, winter solstice. So around the 19th to 21st of, or maybe even 22nd of June, you have to check your particular chart to find out what your degree of sun is at, and your rising sign. This will be, 0 to 1 degree. This will be in the first house. Otherwise, it's going, not first house, 8th house. Otherwise, this can be in your 7th house. But that is, to tell you the truth, because the unequal house system, you can't really go by that. So I can't say, that definitively, but we'll just say that for most of you, this is probably going to be in your 7th house. So the 7th house is the house of relationships. Cancers have already gone through radical change with relationships. I'm not saying like all of a sudden. I'm talking about over time. And this can run the gamut. Cancer people sometimes can be codependent. A lot of times maybe that's the case. You can be codependent. And this is merely because, well, I can't say merely, but one main reason is because you're a very caring person and you're a very nurturing person. You want to take care of people. That's your caretaker. That's your natural inclination. However, if you attract somebody who needs to be taken care of, there's a problem there, because that is not I'm talking about like a romantic relationship. I should have specified, but you could even talk about like a friendship, let's say, where somebody is very in need of being rescued on a regular basis. It can easily turn into a parent-child relationship where you're the adult in the room and they are the mischievous child who's always getting into one problem or another that you have to bail them out of. And you may do this because you're just naturally nurturing, but you may also do this because you want to be needed. And that's kind of like a negative form of being needed. It's not, enhancing your life. It's just creating unnecessary drama. So you have to be able to see this and break that pattern. And you might be able to, because the full moon can allow you to let go of things that are not serving you, and also to see them in the first place, to have something to come to a crisis point so that you can fully see what somebody else is, how they're negatively impacting you. This can also secrets can come out about a relationship, but if it's something, if it's a bad relationship, but you don't trust this person and you can't put your finger on why, you feel like they're doing something nefarious, this can be a time, if you find out what that is, that it can be a good thing. So don't be afraid of disclosure, because it might be a very liberating thing for you. If you have any kind of legal matter, that can come to a close at this time. And maybe there's a decision, maybe you're getting a divorce or something along those lines, who knows? And then you'll be able to kind of close that chapter of your life. On the 27th, Mercury goes into Leo, and so that'll really bring out that mental energy as it connects to your finances. Maybe constructing a budget is in order, or what have you, things like that. Your mind is on your money. Your money is on your mind. On the 28th, Jupiter goes back into Aquarius. So Jupiter was briefly in Pisces, fellow water sign. Now it's back into Aquarius. So this is going back into that 8th house. So there might be some kind of an inheritance issue I could even think of, that, Jupiter in the 8th can be, gained through other people's money. And with the retrograde and the full moon in the house of legal affairs, that could be like, maybe there's a lucky break. There's some kind of last minute thing that allowed you to get the situation under control. Maybe before there was like some fighting or conflict in terms of who gets what, and now everything is, you thought you might have even thought that all was lost, and now you're realizing you get it. You can have it. Jupiter, you could be taking some kind of a metaphysical course, and perhaps it passed you up before. And because Jupiter rules the 9th house, and that can involve long distance travel, maybe it will involve travel. And you'll be able to go and take that yoga training course in Bali or whatever. On the 29th, Mars goes into Virgo. So Mars joins Venus in the 3rd house. And Venus in the 3rd house, if you're dealing with siblings, you might have had a truce or some kind of even money, getting some money from sibling, but maybe they were paying you off. Maybe you find out that they were trying to pay you off because they're going to get even more money, and then it's on, or something like that. But Mars in the 3rd can be doing a lot of stuff in your community for some reason. Maybe you've decided to kind of have a staycation, and you're just really exploring your local area and doing a lot of walking, just doing a lot of stuff on the ground instead of being kind of detached from the community or the local area. Maybe you're biking a lot or something like that. You might be, really motivated to share information, speak your truth about something, and there's like this stridency, this militancy. Mars is the god of war, and you really want to share that. So anyway, that's what I have for you, Cancer. I hope that you enjoyed this. If you would like a personal reading, the link is below. Thanks for listening. Take care. Bye.